Hello my friends, in this video I want to share a few tips on improving in realism, in realistic drawing, how to make your art pop off the paper and make it look more real, more natural and more as a 3D form. Later I will also take some of these tips to more detailed video. I will make a special video about it to make it clearer for you. But now just let's look at these few tips in general. Because I think most of you came to me because of realistic drawings. Even if not, these tips are helpful also in any art you might like to create. The first tip is always look at a reference photo when you want to draw a figure drawing or a drawing of a portrait. Many artists know, for example, how the nose looks like or lips looks like or all the proportions in the face. But to be honest, everybody looks different, and if you want to make a portrait of somebody looking like the person, you should definitely take a photo of him and study the reference and even keep looking at the reference while drawing all the time. Here I'm looking at a photo of me, please, sorry about it. I just want to talk about the picture of an object I know the most, hopefully. So, before I draw the picture, I would look at the photo. Try to make some imaginary guidelines just to take the head into your hand. Maybe try to make some lines to get the proportions right. Just, for example, measure. Also, when you want to achieve more realistic look or results, I prefer to draw according to a reference photo, not live subject, because for me I need more time, my time. Also, I think you can notice more details and the details much better on the photograph than in real life, from my own experience. So the first tip is draw from a reference photo. There are many photos for free on the internet in the Reality Images, and you can take them for free and use them for free without giving any credit. So it's better to draw from a photograph, or you can even take your own photograph of the object you want to draw. Hard versus soft edges in your drawing. One of the most important things in real world, in real life, is that the objects do not have any outlines. As you can see in this picture, everything you can see around you or everything you can see on this photograph is just a composition of lights and shadows. Shadows, lights, lights, shadows, lights, shadows, midtones, the darkest values, the darkest shadows, shadows, highlights. So these create illusion of form, lights and shadows. The difference between soft and hard edges is that soft edges are gradual transitions between values. So these are different values, and this is transition which is gradual. There is no hard line to make the difference, but it is just soft, smooth, gradual transition. So soft change of the values. Also here, also here, so here, here. There's no hard line to define the shape of the nose. It is just soft, smooth transition, and we will learn about it more. There are hard edges in the photograph. For example, when some objects are overlapping each other. As you can see in here, the chin is overlapping the neck, the skin on the neck. Or here, the transition between the object itself and the background, for example, also here. But as you can see, there is not just a hard line making the difference between these two objects. There is the object itself, and then there is a shading to create shadow, to create the illusion of two separate forms overlapping each other. Also here you can see there is the difference between outlined work and realistic drawing. You can see maybe the first one will be used in cartoon drawings. I am not against it at all. Just when you want to improve in realism, it's better not to make the outlines. I will show you the way of creating the illusion of form with no hard lines in it. At first I'm using just harder pencils such as F or HB pencils to create the basic shading, the light background in the drawing. I'm trying not to push the pencil against the paper because it could damage the paper. Then I'm using softer pencils to create darker values, to create the shadow and mid-tone. In a while you will see how the form is already shaping with no outlines. That is what reality looks like. No cartoons are walking in the real life. So just keep in mind the form is not created by outlines, but a composition of lights and shadows. Hard edges are created in the place where some objects some objects touch each other or overlap each other. There is no gradual transition. For example, when you look at the portrait, as I said before, you can see there is a chin overlapping the skin on the neck. My tip is not creating a hard dark line to create this difference or edge. Even when it is called hard, you should create this transition by using different values instead of separating it with lines. As you can see, the transition is not just a hard line in the middle of the drawing, but I create a shading to make it look like an illusion of two separated objects overlapping each other. Now I can move to other tip for more natural look. It is adding some asymmetry to your work. Nature is usually not so symmetrical. Try to make a braid in your hair and you will see there are a few little hair not cooperating with you. So I usually try to add something extra when I have some space for it, for sure. I add just few special messy hair in this picture. I'm using harder pencil for it, because when you use a softer pencil, it would produce more graphite and it could damage the thin line of the hair. And we're moving to the last very important thing or aspect of your drawing, especially in realism, and it is contrast. It is important to use wide range of values to be sure your drawing will pop and look more 3D in the result. Try not to use only one pencil of harder leads, such as, for example, HB, or F pencil, because it will limit your value range. You won't be able to get dark and your drawing will lack of any depth. Also, when you try to create darker values with harder pencil, for example, HB pencil, for a shadow, this shadow I am drawing here, by the way, I'm using 3B or 4B pencil to create this shadow. When you try to create darker value with harder pencil, for example, HB pencil, by larger amount of pressure, you might damage the paper, or you can achieve the shiny result you don't want. Or there won't be already any chance to darken the value created with the harder pencil with softer pencils, because you are not drawing on the paper already. You're drawing on the shiny value created with the harder pencil. So you're drawing only on shiny graphite layer that can't absorb any more graphite. So be careful about this. It is always better to use the softer pencils, not to put any larger amount of pressure on it. Just create values with more layers, with softer values to make it look more dark. So buy a wider range of grades to make your drawings pop off the paper. So this was all from me for today. I will definitely make a video to go more detailed in a few of these tips. Also, I will make a special video on a few more general tips, such as watching an object as a form, or how to get more motivated or inspired in your drawing, and so on, because you asked me for that a lot. If there is any question, just leave a comment below this post, or you can message me here on Patreon or on Instagram. I hope this video was helpful for you, and thank you for all your support. See you next time. Bye!